All right, and we are back. And ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to sit down with Mike Varnes. I've had his son Cole on. You guys go back and re-listen to that one. Absolute legend. Cole's a legend. And where do you think it come from? This gentleman sitting right here before everybody. And of course, I have a co-host, my man Danny Hall. I've had him on twice already. So, gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Awesome.
All good here. All good. Excited. Ready to go.
Yeah. Me too. So listen, let's get into it. How it always started out. Mike, tell us your journey, man. Where did it all begin with you on those beautiful twos?
So we go back to the beginning. I'll say my dad raced, and of course, he jumps me into it, pushes me, didn't push me in it, but got me involved. My uncle and my dad, they had a motorcycle shop in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Penn State Cycles, sold Suzukis and Yamahas. So I grew up in a shop, and that's really, kind of when you're there, that's your life at that point because you're connected to it. Started off racing the local district races, flat track. Moved from there, moved from the 50, or I never raced 50s, like that was probably like early 80s. I jumped right onto an 80. I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Did 80s, 125s, 250s, and then as you move up, you had different variations. Like when I was first starting with flat track, there wasn't so much DTX bikes like you have what they call just like a normal moto bike with lowered suspension and wheels. Every bike was either a champion frame or a night frame or something like that. You took a motor out of a new bike and shoved it in there and made it go. That's what we kind of grew up on. And then as I was getting older, it kind of shifted to where the motorbikes became they just got better. The technology and everything changed and it just made everything better. I did touch a little road racing when I was a kid. We went to Pocono with my YZ250 and we threw some road race tires on it. My dad's like, let's go do the road race with your 250. It was my motorbike or my flat track bike, but we just stuck road race tires on it. We go to Pocono for a weird race and did rider school. I'm out there putting my foot down and people are like, who's this kid putting his foot down, going around the turns, So that was kind of fun. I rode after that, I rode an RS 125 road racer, little Honda. I still have it. I think it's probably one of the first years they were water cooled, and it's a RSC motor. So it's like one of the original, that came from Honda, and that thing's pretty cool. Did that, kind of moved on from road racing. Stayed in the flat track side of it. Went pro. Did the normal. We didn't have novice, junior, expert. We had pro-am, junior, expert. Made it all the way to that. Had a good year. Was it 2000? I got 19th in the series. That was my best year. I kind of quit work. Didn't quit. I kind of got them to, hey, let me off for the summer. Just wanted to give it a go. I had my best year ever. Working, we built our own bikes, the Harleys, and all that, and just did that till 2004. If I go back to the early 90s, I acquired an RC30 Honda from Milwaukee. A friend of ours here in Pennsylvania, he was friends with Milwaukee, and he calls him up and he tells him, hey, get this kid a bike over here. So he supposedly he sent like 2 bikes. He sent an RC30 and a 600. The 600 we never saw. My cousin was going to ride that, and it just either never made it or didn't get through customs. For some reason, it just never made it here. But I ended up riding this RC30 a few times. I did Road Atlanta as a rear racer. It might have been a CCS race at the time. This is like 92. And, and I'm on my own. Like, it's just me, and I went with a friend. I loaded this super bike up. And then that bike had an 18-inch rear wheel, because that's how it came stock. But this was, it wasn't a stock bike. It was made into a race bike, but it had the 18-inch wheel on it still. So I had to figure out, I got some wheels for it. Started doing a couple other races. We would go to Summit Point. We ended up going to Daytona in 92 92 for the CCS races at the end of the season. And a friend of mine, I needed a partner for the endurance they used to run a 3-hour endurance race. So I jumped into that, did that. And I think we got like 4th or something. And like I was just, trying to figure it out. But I did pretty good. So I came home from Daytona, and the guy that got us the deal through Milwaukee, he calls him up and says, "Hey, let's get this kid to Japan." So this was October where we did Daytona. We was it the second week in December in '92? They fly me to Japan to go to Suzuka to test their bike, and I rode that. Well, it was a disaster. I'm going to say that.
Was it really?
So it's the weather's not the best, and it was drizzly. And 5 laps in, I destroyed it. I'm coming down. There's like the back stretch into a fast left turn, and I'm tucked in. I'm like, okay, this thing's like boogieing, and I sit up, I start braking, and bam, tuck the front. I slide into the gravel, and I'm just sliding, and I'm up. My ass cheeks getting hot. I put my hands down. My hands are getting hot. I pulled them in. And now I'm in the gravel. I look over and I see the bike doing this. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, and I'm sitting there on the wall, and I can't get back to where the pits are because you're kind of stuck till the session's over.
Yep.
And I'm like, they're gonna kill me. Like, this is no good. And we get back to the pits, and he's like, it happens. Riders crash. But it was drizzly. Like, we had, like, intermediate. Back then, you had rains, intermediates, and slicks. And we had the intermediates on. And it wasn't rainy, but it was damp and wet and cold. And it was just not ideal. And I lost the front. It happened. But go back to their shop. Unfortunately, where Suzuka is, Milwaukee's shop is, like, a mile away. So we get back to the shop, pulled out. I think we replaced everything but the frame and the forks were left, and we had it stripped. They stuck another motor in it, rebuilt it back up, and back at the track later, And I'm going, oh boy, now what? Like I said, so we did that. I was there for 2 days at Suzuka, and then we went to this, and I can never remember the track in southern Japan. We drove about 4 hours south of Suzuka to another track and tested there, and did actually better on that track. It was a little smaller, and you could learn it quicker. Suzuka's very long and technical. That's a hard one to learn with that only have. And hell, when I went there, what I had maybe 5 races on that RC on the RC30 we had, and the bike they had, it was a version of the RC30, but they built their own dual-sided swing arm for it. So it was more of their Suzuka 8-hour bike that we rode, but it was still the same motor. So that was my claim to fame. And then they sent me a motor to race the Daytona 200 in '93. And I just remember we got this new motor. I'm like, okay, we're going to be set up. We're going to go to Daytona. And look, it's just me and my dad, and we're fumbling through what we can do. And the lead-up races to the CCS races that they have before the 200, I crashed in the West Horseshoe high side and broke my collarbone. So I never got to ride the 200. And then, I didn't have a budget to go road racing, and they weren't willing to keep helping. So we kind of, at the end of '90, after that, I healed up from the collarbone, went back to flat track. I had a lot of support through flat track with the Harley dealers back then. They couldn't spend enough money to race. There was, the Harley thing was in full-time boom in the early '90s, mid-'90s, and they just helped everybody, So we kind of stuck with the flat track through that then. But that's kind of the short version.
I mean, listen, it's an amazing journey you've had, from flat track racing to Suzuka on an RC30, right? Like, that's an amazing journey right there. Suzuka's always been one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun track.
Right.
And the atmosphere, they treat you like a king over there.
Absolutely.
Danny's been to Suzuka.
Yes, I have. Not an RC30.
There you go. Right.
Right there.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Going from flat track racing, everybody knows I'm a huge fan of flat track. I think it's one of the best ways to train on two wheels. It teaches you so much of front lost grip control constantly and rear, right? So finding that happy medium by keeping it on the edge. And then when you get on the tarmac, obviously when that happens, like muscle memory, if you go shoot all the time, it's that muscle memory, right? Then you expect what happens when it happens. So in your opinion, how did that help you from flat track to road racing?
So I'll say for me, I didn't have enough time to road race to really learn a lot. I jumped into it because I had an opportunity, but I didn't get to really like that. I was 20 years old when we did that, or 21, 2021, and so it definitely helps. I think for I can look back and go, it's definitely helps. It's definitely helps any road racer who wants to learn to use the rear brake, and is afraid of the rear brake. If you do flat track, it teaches you all that stuff. I would pass people road racing. It always drove me crazy. You go to like some point, you're going down the long straightaway, everybody's all the way in the left. And I'd be like, okay, well, I'll run up. Here's a spot. I'll just go up the inside. Like they're all like lined up going into the turn, and I would just run right up into the apex, grab all the brakes I could, and stop and turn. And I think they probably thought I was crazy, but you can pass people, because they're just out there just doing that wide arcs. Which okay, that might be the fast line, but you got to get around people, and I think it teaches you just to get past people.
Did it teach you, Mike, how to slide a bike?
What, flat track?
Yeah.
Oh,
go into transition into road racing.
Yeah. And I would say when I was road racing, I don't know how much I was sliding, but I didn't care if it did. Right? I wasn't in my mind. I probably wasn't trying to make it slide, but I know it was, and that's natural to me. Like because I did it since I was a kid, and now I'm 20, 21 years old. And, that's what you do. And if you look at the guys that did that, like in my era, you had I'm about the same age as Pegram, and he started road racing around that same time, like Hale. They were all in that same era. Hale was a little after, but all those guys were coming after me. But they all came from flat track because we were all there. We all
Schwantz did, Merkel, they all came from flat track.
Yeah.
Even the guys in Europe, they're like over at Valley's Ranch. They're all doing that.
Right. It's. I think it's valuable. I know more now that I learned. I remember what was it 2003 or something. Chris Carr lives not far from me.
Yeah.
And he called me up. He goes, "Hey, come down to Harrington, Delaware with us. I'm gonna have you you can help instruct at Super Camp with Danny." And so I did that, and I learned so much by what those guys could teach you. And actually, when I took Cole, about 3 years ago, we went back, and I rode it again. I learned more, and I told this to Danny. I said, I learned more when I was there with my kid a couple of years ago than I did probably when I was younger, only because I stopped racing for a while. I forgot about all the bad habits. And I wasn't saying, oh, no, this is what works for me. If you listen, you actually learn and go, I'm going to learn what they teach me and what they tell me. Because it matters. Everything they teach you there, it's correct. Like for me, I'm 100% on board with how they teach that and the body positions and how to use the brake. I think it's, there's always something else that'll do something better somewhere, but I think what they teach you there is pretty much, if you use those fundamentals, you're just fine.
All the people that you talk to about, I know all of those guys. I'm surprised I never ran into you because I know Danny Walker and Hale. We raced against Hale. Kip, the Worm, Larry. I mean, you're bringing up all these names, man. I know all these guys.
Right. I was only in the road race world for a half a season. right? And I only raced Daytona as a national. Like I
Okay.
didn't get to do any more because man, I was broke by that. Like we didn't have the funding to keep it going. I wish at that point I would have actually said, "Oh, Superbike's not." I didn't know enough to race a Superbike, and that's what I had. They sent me this bike. I'm going to race it, but I probably should have went back and started riding a 600 and learning and trying to do that. But we had the opportunity to go flat track, so that's what we did. But I wish I would have. If I look back, I'd say I wish I would have stuck with road racing because I think it would have had a better, maybe more of a better outcome, future wise.
Yeah, I mean it's I love both, dude. I'm a huge fan of flat track and road racing, obviously. And I can't wait to go to Daytona in 2026 and watch the flat track race be against the finish. I'm telling you, man, it was the best time ever.
Right.
I can't wait. I can't. I'm so
Yeah, no, it's a good time. I mean, we just went to that ice race over the weekend, and
Nice.
just being back at the track after the kid broke his foot, and so we were out since mid-September, and now he's back at it. It was like, oh, we're back with your people again, and just the vibe. And they had it in a hockey arena, so it makes it the show, the lights, the music. They really make a good show out of it. That the guys from the World Championship Ice Race Series, it was cool.
Yeah, you actually sent the video. I was super pumped, dude, and super proud of you and Cole, obviously, man. Obviously here learned everything from his dad, right? But is Cole faster than you now, or are you still faster than
Oh, he's
Cole?
definitely faster than me. Yeah, I don't on the pavement, on the road, on the dirt. I think I still got him for about 5 laps.
I gotcha.
My tongue's hanging out.
Was Picot and Crevier ice racing then?
With us?
Yeah.
No. There was no. This is part of that World Championship Ice Race Series. They're based out of Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's Christy and Ken Reamer, and they do like about a 4 or 5 race series.
I love ice racing.
Yeah, they always kick it off here in Pennsylvania, and then they go to. There's one in Ohio, and I think there's one in Wisconsin. I don't know where all the rest are, but there's a couple on their schedule.
Well, those guys would have raced Canadian.
Right.
Okay.
Well, there was another kid that was going to be on our group. He was a Canadian, Matteo Racine, and but he broke his collarbone, like I guess last Wednesday, so he couldn't make it. Because I don't know if you know Johnny Lewis from Florida. We used to be from Pennsylvania. He used to not far from where I live, but he set this deal up through Royal Enfield to race these bikes. It's the FT 450, and he had these custom seats made for him, flat track seats, and still had a 17-inch wheel on the back, but he got a tire. They did screws, put the fenders on, and brought them up, and we all pretty much had the same bike, and it was kind of fun. It's a good platform bike for, he uses that in his slide school down in Florida, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just a fun event to be a part of.
I'm trying to actually share this video you sent me of Cole winning the ice race. Trying to figure out how to do it so people can see it.
What year did you go pro?
Flat track would have been 92.
Yeah, I was in Europe. I would have never crossed paths with you. The first time I went to Daytona was 94.
Right.
But I was in Europe.
Gotcha.
So we would have never crossed paths.
No.
Boo.
We know all the same. Yeah, but back then it was different. I don't know if you were, what was going on in Europe at the time, but I think like in the stateside, the AMA series was pretty potent. I mean, look at all the teams they had back then, and that every manufacturer had a team.
And factory mechanics.
And
Full
mechanics.
factory mechanics.
Yeah.
Now everybody's rent a mechanic. Right.
Even the support riders had good rides, support through the factories.
Yes, it does, my friend. All right. Let's see if I figured this out.
Danny, where do you live at? Where are you from?
I live by Laguna Seca,
Hmm.
Central
Okay.
Cal.
Yeah.
I'm about an hour south of Monterey.
Gotcha.
So I was a factory mechanic for Yamaha, Honda, and Kawasaki. So when I was in the US, I also worked with Muzzy.
Okay.
So Muzzy, we were over in Europe. That's where I ran into them. I was doing World Superbike, World 600, and a little touch of MotoGP or 500 GP.
Right.
But,
Funny thing about Daytona, when I tried to race Daytona, that was the year Yamaha hired Eddie Lawson to come back on that FZ 750.
we beat him.
He passed me like I was sitting still. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? We're going through the left kink before the West Horseshoe, and I'm like, I hear it coming. I'm like, oh shit, here he comes. And I'm like, just bracing myself. He just zapped me right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
He kicked ass that year at Daytona on that thing. Uh-oh, we lost him.
Yeah, we raced 94. Scott won. Eddie was second. And I think Thomas Stevens was third that year, 94. And then 95, Carl Fogarty came. We had Anthony Gobert, and Scott won. Anthony was in second, and he crashed.
You're back?
There you go.
Yeah, I kicked myself out of the studio by accident. I was like, "Uh-oh, wrong button." But yeah, so listen, dude, I flat track racing is absolutely amazing. Let me ask you this, Mike. You having a kid, obviously, me too. Did you have aspirations of Cole getting into two motorcycles, or?
So, no. I'll say it like this. I wasn't going to keep him from him, but I wasn't pushing him. My wife, we live on a horse farm, and we're like, racing is great, but the future is bleak for most to make a career out of it, right? And I know that. So we're like, hey, let's see how he does on the horses. He was riding horses and he was jumping and doing these little things when he was about 5, 6, 7 years old. He was doing okay, but he just didn't, wasn't like capturing. And we ended up going to, as Danny would know, and if you're flat track and road racing, the bikes you buy off the showroom floor have to be changed so much.
Sure.
To race them. So I thought, let's do off-road. I can go to the dealership, I can buy the bike and actually race what I buy. You don't have to go crazy making all kinds of adjustments and wheels and all the stuff you got to do. So we tried to do some like hair scrambles and stuff like that with him, and it was just like, he was just out there riding, and it didn't really, I don't know, he wasn't coming along with it like I was thinking he was gonna, but all good. And a friend of mine, Rob Miller, runs Sandy Hook Speedway, the little moto track or mini moto track down in Maryland. And I knew a lot of the people that did it. So we're like, let's go try one of those. Let's just put some tires on his TTR 100, 110, and go down and see how it goes. We go there the first time, and he's like, oh, he loved it, right? And the amount of track time you get on a mini bike on a little go-kart track is so much different, probably 4 times as much as you would at a local flat track race or even a hair scramble. You just do a lot of riding. And so we did that a couple times. Then we went to New Jersey Mini GP, did that, and he was hooked. Once we got to Jersey and got to Kawasaki 110, he was like, man, I'm in. So I never knew how far we'd go, how long we would do it, but here we are. Like we just keep progressing through the process, and there's no rush. I have no panic button that are like, oh, we're gonna get too old. It's just I'm bringing him along the way I feel is a way to just give him the tools to do what he needs to do. And if he's fast enough, then we'll progress. Like this year, or last year, let's say, he was 13 at the beginning of last year. It was like, people are like, "Oh, are you going to get into the Talent Cup?" I'm like, he's going to miss a couple races. Let's just see how that goes. And we did the Azure races with the Cali 400 because we bought the Cali thinking we're going to go to Junior Cup, but then they changed it, so we still had this bike. So we go run the Azure races with the Cali 400. He was doing good. He's running with kids that are 15, 16, 17, and older kids or older people, and he's hanging with them. And he didn't have a lot of experience on a big track at all until this year. And he won VIR by default.
Nice.
And he won a race at Jersey at the end of the year. He won the last race of the year, and his lap times were within what was it? It was like he would have been top 5 in Junior Cup at Jersey with what his times he ran. So all good. So we, now this year we got the GSXR 800. We're gonna start with Azra because you got to be 15 to do Twins Cup. So his age, where his birthday falls, he's always in the middle. So you can't do it at the beginning. You got to wait. So I said, let's just go do Azra, use the 800, try to get him up to speed, and then see how he does. And if he's good enough, we can hit the last 3 races of Moto America if possible. With it's Jersey, VIR, Mid-Ohio and VIR. I think those 3 are more at the end of the season. So we'll hit those 3 if we can, if he's up to speed, because we'll be able to hit each one of them tracks before a Moto America race. So we'll know how his lapse times are. If his lapse times are close, we'll maybe throw our hat in there. But that's it's just us, I'm gonna have to recruit a few people to come along to help with those because there's a lot of action. There's some days.
Dude, I'll help out 100%. I'll be on the team. Got you.
If I was there, I'd help you.
Yeah, it's because you think, what do you need? Because you gotta go down the pit lane. You gotta all the extra things that happen other than just leave your pit box or pit space and get out on the track and go. You got to be down there. You got to have tire warmers, generators, tools, tents. You're like, holy shit, I'm gonna need. How do you, that's not a one-man job.
All that, no, it's not. No. It's fun.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It is
navigating all that. That's the tough part. The race is easy.
Bro, you got help, my friend. Trust me, you definitely got help. We got a comment. Omesh Agam, what is up, my man? He says, that's how Mike acquired 10 mini bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine me, every race, like his kids, Sasha and Cole, are about the same age. Cole's a little older, but they grew up racing the minis, and now we're at the big track, and we kind of hang with each other and help each other out. If one of the kids crash, we're over helping each other put each other's bike back together, and it's a full effort by the dads.
It is. It was. I met him and his son at Daytona for the Azure Race of Champions, and I interviewed his son many times because he was out there kicking everybody's ass. Fast on a NSF 250.
NSF, yeah, he goes good on that thing.
Dude, Danny, he was absolutely murdering. I was like, yeah.
We were talking all summer. He's like, man, if I go to Daytona with that 250, is that thing going to make it around the banking? Because you're just wringing its neck the whole time, the whole way around.
Yeah. I don't think Richie Oliver raced the 250 at Daytona. I don't remember.
I don't either, Danny.
That's where we're heading. Heading to the seeing where it goes.
Well, if a Harley can make it around it, then 250 can make it.
Support.
I know for a fact it did. Yeah.
Been on the phone all winter trying to find the help and find the support. And you get a little here and there, but it's not. I always say it's not like the good old days.
Is it, since you looking for sponsorships, and I call it friendships, right? I don't like the word sponsorship. Is that when you were flat track racing and you were doing the same thing back then, has the game changed at all as far as that goes?
Listen, back when we were flat tracking, the Harley dealers, like I said, they were they were making money hand over fist, and they just love supporting flat track. And we have in Pennsylvania, we got a couple of really good flat track or Harley dealers that did it and were wanted to be a part of it. And heck, even when I quit in 04, that was my last year. We went to 05. We had all the bikes, still had the box truck. I said, let's put another guy on it. So I ended up running the team for a while because we had all the stuff at our place anyways. We worked on it. I said, let me just find a rider and we'll put somebody on it. So we found a rider and put him on it. Did 05 and 06. That guy went and did his own, got a different team, that rider, and then 06 we put Sammy Halbert as a rookie on our bikes. He rode our Rotax and Harleys, and we ended up he got rookie of the year that year. So,
bro, so we got to talk about this for a minute because you talked about it before, the whole Sammy Halbert. You know, I was I think I've only said this on the podcast, but I remember he was one of the people that I always admired him and Brad Bullitt and Baker. Right? They were just total opposites of each other, but unique in their own way, and their vibes were just totally amazing, right? And I just gravitated towards them. So I remember sitting on the couch, and I was like, I want to message Sammy and get him on my podcast. And I've been talking about this for a while, and my wife's like, I'm tired of hearing you. Do it, right? If you don't, I am. So I was like, here goes nothing. Literally 3 minutes later, Instagram message, boom, Sammy Halbert. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me right now? Right? And then, fast forward, I had him on the podcast, met him at Daytona, hung out with him flat track racing that weekend, and it was absolutely amazing. Fast forward, me and Mike are sitting down. He's like, yeah, dude, we had him on our team when he was young. I was like, what?
Yeah, I think it was the winter of 05. I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to do? We got to find a rider. Who can we – and I'm like I look for the I'm not saying he was an underdog, but he was new. It was going to be his rookie year, you know, and it kind of – there's not a lot of pressure. Like you're not getting a rider of a caliber where you're going, okay, you got to go win races right away. So – let's go help somebody young. And, you know, I always thought that's what I would have, you know, if somebody could have grabbed me or just help somebody new at it. So, you know, we met down in Savannah at the first race of the year before Daytona Bike Week and worked our way down to Daytona. And he ended up at the Daytona Short Track that year in 06. He got second at the first national at the stadium. And he started on the third row. There's 6 on each row at that time, and you start on the third row at the Daytona Short Track. You're way back in the weeds. But he made it to second. Had he been on the first or second row, he'd have won that race because he came through the traffic. And Brian Smith won that race, but he was catching him like toward the end, like that. The bike we had at the time, we had it was the Rotax motor and the J&M frame, and that's right around when all the Hondas, the Yamaha motors, jammed in frames were, you know, really starting to come alive. And that was really the last year that Rotax was competitive because after that, everybody was getting the 450 motors, you know, tuned in, you know. But that thing was like a tractor at that track, and that bike, the bike you rode, was like perfect for that track. The way it grooves up and is loose, because it's kind of it can be loose, but it can groove up. You can do a little bit of everything. That night it was magic.
That's where his nickname Slammin' Sammy come from, right?
Yeah, he got that name that year. He wasn't afraid to get in there. He was, what was he, 18 maybe at the time? I think he was 18, and he had no fear. None. Like, he would just go for it. And,
bro, his passes are amazing. I was like, are you kidding me? Right in there. Yeah.
And he ran 69 number, didn't he?
He crashed our bike, the Rotax, at Frederick, Maryland, at a half mile, a regional race leading up. Like, it was July 4th. They always run July 4th. He rode that there. And he crashed coming out of the turn, got into the loose stuff and got sucked into the fence. And they medevaced him to Baltimore from Frederick, Maryland, and thinking, man, how bad is he? Like, he wasn't bad at the track, but it was one of them days where it's 100 degrees out, and he crashed, and you go from 100 mile an hour to 0. Your body, there you go, Baker. Your body can take a toll. He's on the track moaning and groaning and trying to get his leather suit off, and the next thing you know, they got the scissors out and they started chopping at his leathers. I'm like, oh no, we got a race next week. Don't cut his leather suit off. And so they cut him off. We have no leathers now, and we didn't even know if we could ride. And he's staying with me that summer at our house. And I said, okay, go out and ride the mini bike around. If you can do that, we'll go to Parkersburg, West Virginia. And he went out there and he gritted it, and he was probably, chewing on a piece of wood so it didn't hurt, so we could go. We ended up going to the track, and he ended up making that national that night on the 750. So he's tough, that kid.
I never realized how not tall he was until I met him.
Yeah.
But he's man, oftentimes you hear you should never meet your heroes. There hadn't been one of those experiences for me, except for Casey Stoner. He was the only one that I ever approached and asked for an autograph. He looked at me and said, absolutely not. Right. And turns around and I was like, what I do, right? Like, what? I give my poster that's hanging up right here to my brother's girlfriend. She immediately walks up to him and says, will you sign this? And he was standing there watching me hand her the poster. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And looks at me. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's go. Right. So
It's
that
like
was
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan wouldn't give you a signature.
If we
But he
fast,
would a woman.
fast forward, but a lot of people always ask me, like, did you like riding? Or, I actually enjoyed working on the bikes and having the team. Like, and I actually think there was more pressure, from my side, like, because you're putting somebody on your motorcycle, and now I'm putting my kid on these bikes, so you got to make sure these things are right. You see some funky stuff out there at the track. Sometimes you go, man, I ain't gonna do that. But look, sometimes you got to do some weird stuff just to get it going because you have an accident or whatever, and you tape it back together, which I did that already. But you just every time somebody goes out on your bike, you've got to just make sure, double check, tighten this, tighten that, and the nerves I think are a little not higher, but it's just a different type of nerve that you have then. Okay, is this thing going to hold together? Did I tighten the axle? Did I tighten something going to fall off? That's the last thing I always say. I don't want it to be my fault that something happens. Danny probably feels that too. Being a mechanic, you're constantly.
My shit was tight.
Did I do it all? And it's never done. Right, Danny? It's never done.
You touch a motorcycle more than you'll ever touch a woman.
If you came back for 10 minutes, you'd still be working on it, right?
Well, our guys, I always had people, double check my work because I check theirs. I check shift linkages. You can't hear?
You can't hear him?
Uh-uh.
All right, hang on. He said, Danny said, you'll touch a motorcycle more than you'll ever touch a woman. I love it, man. I freaking love it. Hey, Danny, I'm working on your mic right now as I'm talking. Omesh says, losing money together. And then he also says, zip ties and safety wire is a skill. Both is a fact for sure.
Yeah. Stock up. You're going to need it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
When I was building.
No. Well, no. Let me mute my unmute. Yeah.
You hear me now?
There? No.
I'm here. No. Mike is muted.
Muted on mine. I can see it's muted on mine.
The host is.
It's not muted on my end. He muted himself. Unmute your mic, Danny. Nope. It shows muted. There you go. Now say something.
Hello?
Yep.
No.
You hear him, Mike?
Nope.
Bro, are you kidding me right now?
All All right, get out the duct tape.
Yeah. Now it's time for the safety wire and the zip ties right now, right? Yeah.
I've got them over there. I got my duct tape.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't know why.
Omish says he says he can hear both you guys.
Yeah, I can't hear Danny for some reason. Let me see what I got going on.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm still working on this technical difficulty as we're talking. So let's bring it back for a minute. Mike, you mentioned the rear brake. I'm a huge rear brake guy myself, right? I use it all the time. I know a lot of people don't like the rear brake, but it helps so much in road racing.
Right.
In your opinion, what are the positives of using the rear brake, especially learning it in flat tracking, and how that, helps Cole and yourself and road racers too?
So, I mean, the main thing is when you're going into a turn, it settles the frame and chassis down. Like it holds it. Because, I hate to say I didn't know it did that, but I learned the mechanics of it at Super Camp. Because when you're going into a turn, and I would do it on purpose to try it. If you go into the turn and you go, I didn't make my turn yet, and I'm still at before the apex. If you let off the brake, it unloads the rear, and it just comes around, and it upsets you, and it starts pushing, and it does all kinds of crazy stuff. So the longer you can hold it, and it's not about using it, it's about just not letting off of it, I will say. You're just kind of dragging it, or you're just pressing it. You're not like slamming it and trying to skid. So everything you can do with that is, and flat track, hell, they use it as traction control coming off the turns because there's no electronics on them bikes. So you'll see the brake discs glowing because there's a hold them wide open and just pushing down on the brake pedal to keep them from spinning because in flat track, you're always searching for traction. And that's the difference with road racing. There's always somewhat of traction. It's just how fast your lean angle and everything matters. Lean angle, how fast your angle. Everything matters on when and how and what you're going to do. It's just, what works for you and what works for this guy could be different. And, the people say, oh, I don't need the rear brake. Well, okay. But I think using it is better. People will argue it, and I think there's a lot of opinions, but my opinion is if you got it, it's there for a reason. Make it work for you.
100%. What do you think, Danny?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him?
I can't.
No. Everybody else can.
I said, should I go out and come back in?
You could try. I mean, yeah, for sure. You could try.
Because I got something to say on that about road racing side.
Yeah, he said he go log out real quick and come back in. I don't hear that echo no more.
That's probably what you did.
I don't hear that echo no more. That's hilarious. I didn't change anything though. Like I meant to. I did something and I exited out of the studio. I was like, uh-oh. I done messed up. Let me go back. All right, here we go. All right.
Let's try that. How about now, Danny?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you are.
So
Nice.
when I built the road race bikes, I used to cut the rear pads back and give them, I used to cut a lot of it off because our race bikes, we only gave them 7 degrees. I know it's different than flat track, but Nicky used to go in and he'd back that bike in. And if you get too much brake, it puts you out so far you can high side.
Right.
That was a big issue that I saw, but they only got 7 degrees. You can't ride a road race bike in the street. You'll never make the corners because you're going to lock. But I gave them 7 degrees. That's it.
Yeah.
So I cut Scott Russell's pads back. He didn't have any rear brake. I mean, but
they all used them, right? But they all used them.
Yeah,
them, right?
but I'd cut the pad back so it wasn't so much.
Right.
I'd remove
you don't
some
want
of
it
it.
to grab. You just want it to be
right.
Just hold it.
But you watch Nicky and he'd go in sideways. It's like, man, you're putting yourself at risk, man. You get a high side out of that real quick.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And you being flat tracking and obviously your son's Cole's getting into road racing, money cost difference between the two sports for those dads that are listening that's interested in either getting their sons in flat track or daughters in or from flat track to road racing?
Well, I guess it's relative because it's all expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I hear rumors of the 450 class in AFT that 30-40 grand to build a 450. You know, so is it that much? And the twins, I think, are somewhat cheaper to build because those motors you don't have to do a whole lot. Everybody's putting the heavy cranks and doing cams and different things like that to them, but they already have the power. It's just you got to make the power usable, you know, and tune it. You know, the biggest, and I think even with road racing, the biggest thing now is that electronic stuff. If you don't know that or have somebody who can do it for you, that's where you're losing now, especially at the upper levels. Even the like Twins Cup level probably and on up.
You got to trust the electronics.
Yeah.
When Matt Mladen started getting into all that, you had to trust it because you're going in and just holding it wide open. What's it going to do?
Right.
Coming off of the corner, it's either zero or wide open.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean I can also see, you know, Mike too is you know, you didn't have any electronics in flat tracking and this whole electronics traction control and anti-engine braking and anti-wheelie and blah blah blah
lane
blah, blah.
control.
Yeah, all that
speed
limiters, right? So all that is going to be new, right? So now you got to do your homework and sit down and try to learn all this stuff. But the fortunate thing is, I think this is a question for both you guys too, as well. You know, and everybody else listening to this right now, and if you've listened to it later, leave a comment down below. Is how do you think the future of AI is going to affect all the engineers and not engineers, but data guys in our sport when, you know, in the future? I think that personally, I kind of see it eliminating those jobs because they might have I guess AI in my head, AI laptop, you just hook your EC up to and it reads the data on it. You tell it what you want it to do and it automatically makes the adjustments. You unplug it and you go back out there, right? So you just eliminated an $80,000, $100,000 a year job right there. You don't have to learn nothing. You just plug and play, baby, like a power commander back in the day. Or a TRE switch, right? You just plug it in, let's go.
Yeah, that's a little far for me to know. I would say this. I don't know much about. I know enough about AI to be dangerous, but AI only knows what it knows, what it's been given. And in racing, you can't give it how much traction's out there. You can't give it certain variables. You can guess, and that's what, you know. A lot of people are, you know, you go out, you go, okay, should I be at 25 or 26 pounds of hair? There's some knowns, but sometimes you're just guessing. You're going, okay, I think this is what we use the most, and that's AI. So AI is just going to tell you, oh, that's what is the most, or maybe it changes over time where there's more information in it that it learned, I guess is how you could say it. But I mean, let's just get rid of it. The electronics. Put it back in the rider's hand and use the throttle. I know, I'm the old guy now. Saying that.
Well, when you look at MotoGP or World Superbike or even AMA, man, they've got all the engineers that have done the fuel injection and the electronics, and they just got engineers. There's probably 3 or 4 engineers per rider on that back row talking to the motorcycle and detuning it, tuning it. I don't know. That's more than $100,000 a year. If you're losing 4 guys,
yeah,
there's 4 positions that are gone. But I don't know much about it. But man, AI, I don't know if it could do that at this point. You know, I really don't know. And like I said, all those guys, unless AI is designing the wire harness and the injection and all that, it doesn't know anything about it. Like you said, it probably has to be taught.
Yeah. Once you have your base, you go, here's base, put it in your system, and then give me variables. It can probably give you some of that, but
Josh Heron's bike last year, I mean, that thing could make 300 horsepower. It couldn't, the tires, it wouldn't hook up. They had to detune that bike all the time, detune it to get it to get traction off of it. So I don't know. We'll see, huh? Sure glad I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, can AI figure that out? That's the variables, I think. Like, you don't know when it's, I guess you know when it's spinning because you have the wheel sensors, but yeah, how does it know if this turns, there's more traction, or who knows? That's a good question, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. In 10 years. I mean, it's something I think about a lot, man. Because now it's like you get on social media and it's hard to tell when a video is fake or not, right? I mean, you can tell some, but there's some you watch, you're like, I don't know, man. This might be real, it might be fake, and it's just getting so rapid and growing so quick. It's just a question that just keeps. That's just how I think, right? It's just me, right? I'm just goofy in that sort of way. I'm like, I wonder if it'll eliminate that job over there. I don't know. Maybe in the future. I don't know.
What do you think it costs, Mike, for a privateer to get out there and run a Twins Cup for a weekend? I mean, you got travel, fuel, tires, expenses.
Tires are the biggest expense now because it's almost like if you don't put a new one on when you go out, you're in the back. You're not like you're using your old tires or your used tires just to try. But everybody's going out with a new tire, and they allocate so many, but they're allocating you a lot. And I don't have all the rules of how many they give you. I think they give you 8 rears, maybe 4 fronts, 5. I don't know, something like that. So you're looking at 12, 13, 14 tires a weekend. If you use them all,
you bought them.
That's a lot. And like sign up fees, all that's easy. Travel, you're still traveling. Are you going to stay in a hotel? Or are you going to live in your camper? You're going to, how are you going to do it? How many people do you got to bring?
Exactly.
It's not just you. Then it's if I'm traveling in our rig and we're going to stay in it, and I got to bring 3 or 4 people. Well, now that's 3 more, 4, and you're there from Thursday till Sunday. It's not
exactly.
You're coming in Friday night and racing Saturday, Sunday. You're there, and that's the biggest difference now, I think, between racing now and when I was racing, even road racing. You'd come in for Saturday, Sunday, and you're done. You get there Friday night maybe, and wait in the line. It's get there and work and go. Now it's you got to get there Thursday.
Yes, you got to set up.
Let's get set up and go through tech. But there's a reason. There's a lot of people and a lot to do, and I'm assuming Moto America can't handle all that in one. You can't get that. They can't have that big of a staff to get everybody through that. So there has to be another day, but it's just more expense for the teams.
When I was at Honda America, we had 6 bikes and we leased them. Each one was $250,000 for the year. Just for 6 bikes. That's not the staff. That's not full factory mechanics. It was a tremendous amount of money. And then you throw in the bonuses, but that's how much those bikes were back with Miguel Curtis and Nicky Hayden. $250,000 each, $500,000 per rider. So $1.5 million just in bikes.
Was that for the season?
Yeah. That's for the entire season, all the parts.
So you're getting $250,000 for each bike or each rider's allocation for the season. It's kind of
$500,000 each $1.5 million just in bikes, with engines, with everything, all the parts, and then they go back. You're just leasing them. And if you destroy it, which they do, you just build another one.
Right.
Dude, that's insane, right? Like.
Yeah, I don't know what do you think, Dan? What's the Superbike run now? Like, what would an attack like?
Jeez.
Are they
Ducatis? I talked to Geraldo Faraci, man, and those bikes I think they're like 35, 40 grand just to do the engine, to rebuild the engine.
Holy shit.
It's insane. Geraldo told me it was a lot of money. It was just a lot of money. He always used to say the fucking motorcycles. Fucking motorcycles.
I love it, dude. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I would think, I don't personally know, but I would guess.
I'd say 150 for that Yamaha. I would have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking 300, but what do
Maybe I
I
don't.
don't know. Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
You don't know what's on them that you don't know.
And
You
those
don't know.
Harleys, man, they only last. Those engines only last for. They don't last very long.
Right.
I forget what those cost. Terry Vance. It was just an astronomical fee for those bikes.
I know this new Suzuki GSXR 800 motor. They're pretty reliable. You can't do any head work in that class on that bike. So your head's stock.
Yep.
You can put pistons in. They have a spec cam. There's not a whole lot you're allowed to do, so it's somewhat economical, and they're reliable. They're not breaking so yet. I haven't seen, and everybody I've talked to seems like they're very reliable. So
do they come polished, ported, or are they?
It's just a stock?
Yeah, you can't touch it.
Yeah, you can't touch it.
No, you can't. Everybody I know that races them absolutely love the motorcycles. They love that bike. It's and aren't you allowed to do something with the airbox too? If I'm not
you can put a different airbox.
Yeah, put a different airbox because they just allowed the pistons last year, was it?
Yeah.
In 25, they allowed them to do aftermarket pistons in them. But yeah, they're great. My boy Matthew Chapin absolutely rips on that thing. Of course, Rocco Landers and a bunch of them. Yeah, they absolutely. And I asked him, I was like, "How's it?" Dude, it's great. It's a user friendly motorcycle. It's easy to ride. Gives great feedback, right? And I've never heard any exploding.
No. I know we kind of deal with Jason Carnes from his team, and he said he took one apart. He had 3 this year for his 3 riders. And he took one apart mid-season, put it back together. It was fine. So they're pretty reliable.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, Jason Carnes and Carnes Performance, good buddy of mine. Congratulations, Levy Batty and Elisa, for y'all's engagement. Congratulations. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we rode that Cole rode his CF. He had a CF Moto 450 that we rode at the beginning of the season, and Cole really liked that for a while. Yeah, we was having some good results on it. I had a win at VIR was on that thing, so he had a couple poles with it. We ended up getting to the Kawasaki, and he was always faster on the Cowie, so we ended up staying on the Cowie. But it was a good platform, and you see CF Motos trying to get into it. They might have something. They're saying MotoGP. They want to do something in MotoGP, but they're like a growing company that seems like maybe and they're connected with KTM, so they'll see what they come up with in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they have KTM Motors. KTM builds the motors for them, if I'm not mistaken. Did you guys on the CF Moto when I seen you at VR?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Awesome, man. Absolutely amazing. So, dude, we got to talk about the ice race your boy just won. Did you do any ice racing too when you was younger?
No. I maybe once or twice we went to a pond, ripped around, but yeah, just never. Pennsylvania is kind of funny. You can have a good winter where it's frozen all year, and other winters you have no ice. So, and unless you're traveling to upstate New York or something, it wasn't in the plan back then when I was coming through. I think, and look, back in my day, there was a lot more racing. Like you wanted a break at some point. You're racing every weekend a flat track race somewhere, and then we would do an indoor series through in the late fall, early into December, whatever, depending on when they were, and then even. There was a couple of years where there was indoor races in Middletown, New York. PJ Jacobson's dad would put on these races in Middletown, New York. Race there a few years. They would put the Coke syrup down on the track and get sticky. And then by January, you're getting ready for Daytona. So, it's like with anything. You take the break when you want. Now the practice is a track day or go rent the track. We're gonna head to like Jennings, mid-February. We're gonna hit Jennings for a test, try it out, try the new bike. But no, we didn't do. Me personally didn't do a lot of ice. It's fun. There's people always say, "How is it?" There's more traction on ice than anything because you can hold it wide open and you got to lean it over so far just to get them to turn because they're hooking up so much. You know, there's
excellent edge grip.
Yes,
excellent edge grip.
Yes. Yeah, you don't think there's a lot until you get on one. I mean, like, man, how do I turn it? You gotta be on the throttle and leaned over to get them things to turn.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, let me ask you this: what advice do you give for all the dads and parents out there listening to this that want to get their kids into flat track or just ride motorcycles and racing in general?
You gotta have. It's the old cliche: have fun. And I would say this: take your kid and learn. Go learn. Go to the camps. Go to the super camp. Do slide school. Do something where your kid's learning from somebody. Or if you can't do that, race. Just keep going. Get seat time. I don't care if you're on a mini moto track or you're on a flat track or whatever you ride. Just put your butt in the seat and go ride. And because no matter what you do, it's going to help. Sooner or later the kids adapt and they figure out their own styles, because not every style works for everybody, but there are some standard things to watch for. But go out and just let them ride. And somebody told me this, and I kind of stick to it: don't build your kid a fast bike. Let them make it stop and make them work for it. And let them learn to go fast with the slower bike, with the faster bikes, and that'll make them faster to begin with because they'll try to do that. And I've always tried to do that. I've never built a bike to the limit yet for him. Like it's always, hey, when we built the Cowie, it was bone stock motor. You did the mod so it don't jump out of gear and break the transmission, clutch, like it always does. But yeah, just keep it simple and. Because you start working on them, that's when they're going to break. That's when you're going to have problems. And you just want the kid to ride. I will say this. I want to win as much as anybody. I don't want to go to a race and lose. But if I'm losing because we don't have a fast bike, I'm okay. But I'm not okay if I'm losing to, something that's, not on par. I will do adjustments. I always make sure it handles good. Do my suspension, get that perfect or as good as you can, and then worry about the rest. Let him go ride. If it handles good, it won't hurt him, it won't crash, then we're good. And then we'll build speed from there. He always says, well, what are we going to do? I said, until you're riding to your maximum potential of this, there's no reason for me to do any more work to it. So that's kind of any advice I would give. Don't make changes until that's the reason you're losing. If you're losing because somebody's drafting by you every time, yeah, go do something. But if you're 2 seconds back, the motor work's not your problem.
These kids right now in my neighborhood, there's a group of 7 of them. They're probably 7 to 10 years old, and they're all on these electric bikes. They look like 125 motocross bikes, full suspension, and they're out in this open field. They built a motocross track, and these kids are jumping. So seat time, you can get it on that too.
Yes.
But they're fast.
Yes, they are.
And I show them my garage that they come by, and I go out and watch them, man. They're young, man, and they're doing it. They're tearing the shit up out there.
I love it, dude. I rode one of those electric bicycles, and I was like, holy shit, this thing rips, dude. It's insane
Full
how
suspension.
fast they are. Yeah. It's crazy. It's yeah, man, absolutely insane. Listen, Mike, then I told Cole this, man, whatever visions and goals you guys have, man, I hope you guys achieve them 10 times over, man. 110%. Can't wait. Rick says, I'm laughing. He says, don't forget about the duct tape. The 200-mile-an-hour duct tape.
Yeah,
you gotta have that. That's a must, right? If you're only going 40, still have the 200-mile-an-hour duct tape. It'll give you extra 10 mile an hour for sure. It's hilarious.
That's what they put on your wheel weights. on the bike.
Yeah.
There you go. It's fat. It's less
200-mile
drag
tank.
too. Yeah, it's less drag too, right? Love it. Seriously, I hope you guys achieve more than you guys envision for real. I know how hard and how much Cole's putting into it, and you two as well. So nothing but love and respect, my friend.
Yeah,
110%.
we're just bringing them along the way we can and try to do the best. I give them the opportunity, right? I just want to give them the opportunity, and hopefully, if somebody notices them and says, "Hey, let's try that kid," then we get some help. That's the goal, get noticed and let somebody go, "Oh yeah, I seen what he can do," and let's try him on our bike.
That's right.
That's it. Because you never know, right? So it's 2026, man. What's the goal? Obviously, I know you said a little earlier is club racing and maybe the last 3 rounds of Moto America.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal. We'll throw in a local flat track race when there's not a road race or something, but basically just gonna try to do the Azra series here and learn. Like, we want to get a bunch of time at Jersey because that's close for us. We want to hit VIR, maybe once or twice, and try to get to Mid Ohio. We haven't been to Mid Ohio. He hasn't rode Mid Ohio, so that's like 6-7 hours away for us. We'll try to get out there, and those are the ones that we could do a Moto America race later in the season if he's up to speed. So we can go there, test, practice, do a track days or whatever, and to see where he falls. I'll say this: he's never disappointed. Meaning, he's always figured it out. He might not. He's kind of the rider where he's not a right out of the pit gate, bam, fastest lap. But there's been a few times the last lap of the last race of the last day, he's the fastest. Like, it takes him sometimes to get there, but he figures out. Then when you go back, you're like, oh, I got this. Like, he does it methodical in his own mind. Like, I don't know if he's trying it, but it just seems like he gets faster the more he goes. So he'll take it easy and he'll go, and then all of a sudden, especially if he sees somebody do something, he's good at watching somebody do something and go, oh, I seen what they do there. And then he goes out and does it and goes, yeah, that was a second, So yeah. He's good at watching that stuff. So we'll see how. I know this bike's going to be heavier. It's more power, but it's not a bike that's going to get him in trouble. I don't think he, you can spin it up and it'll spit you off like any other bike, but I think it's very user friendly. I think he's going to adapt to it pretty good. He's a bigger kid. For 14. He's almost 6 foot tall, so he's got the size to maneuver it.
Yeah, he's as tall as I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he is. I was like, yeah, for sure. What's crazy is my buddy Logan Monk, he races in Moto America, and I remember when I first met him, he was probably about 3 inches taller than me, and then every year since then, it's like, dude, he's the tallest rider in Moto America. He's like 18 foot tall. You cannot miss this guy. Trust me, walking through the paddock, you can't. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, this has been absolutely proper mega, as I always say. I actually want to get away from the motorcycle talk, and I want to ask Mike a couple personal questions so everybody gets to know him away from the track and the racing and all that good stuff. And the first question I have for you, bro, is tell us something we don't know about you at all.
Ooh, what don't you know about me? I'm just a normal guy here, but I've had the same career for 36 years. Right out of high school, came in, been doing it. This is in October of this last year. It was 36 years. So,
wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
And, it's one of those things. I started this job out of high school. A friend of mine, the guy I rode the Daytona endurance race with, he got me this job at this place. And he used to come in our motorcycle shops and race out of our shop, and he got this job. And just been there ever since. But and what was nice is when I first had it in my racing days, you could take off easy. It wasn't if you missed a Friday or a Monday, it wasn't as big of a deal. Like it was a construction type job. Well, it was construction, but it was the way we operated was you could always. It was easier to miss and take some days off. So it paid good. So it kind of complimented what I needed to do to fund my racing.
I love it, man. I love it. I was going to ask you what you do for work. What exactly do you do for work?
So I'm in the trades. I'm a glazer. You ever hear of a glazer? Nobody knows what a glazer is. How about Danny? You know what a glazer is? All right. Danny's in California. You're in Virginia. High-rise buildings, the glass. All these buildings that are wrapped in glass now. The glazers install the glass. Like the iron workers do the steel. The sheet metal workers do the duct work and that type of thing. Carpenters.
You're an installer?
I was.
Do you go up like?
I did.
I was gonna say, holy shit, not me, bro. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you'd hang off the side of a building on a swing stage.
No.
That's what we did. Work up in the machine.
Me and Danny on the ground running the crane. We're like, we got you, bro. We got you from down here.
I wouldn't jump out of a perfectly good airplane, so.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, I did that forever. Now here in Pennsylvania, we have a lot of good union trades. So it's a union shop. So I did that for like the first 16, 17, 18 years that I did it. And then I got it when I quit racing. I was like, man, I got involved with our training center where we would train the new apprentices and everything. So people would come in and I would do a class once a week with the new apprentices. And I did that for about 3 years after work. Like you go to work all day, then you go teach the class for the new guys. They just need the people who kind of, somebody's got to teach the apprentices. So they asked me to jump in, so I did. And then our rep for the union, he was retiring. They asked me to step in, so I've been the union rep for our trade for the last 16, 17 years. So,
well,
congratulations, my man. But I'm in between. Like, I'm not climbing the tower and hanging off the side of the freaking building, installing anything, right? At all, period, right? I'll be inside looking down, put a pin and gas sticker on that glass on the inside, and walk my happy ass down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Now, as far as jumping out of the airplane, yeah, I've done that before too as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world, and this is. We always say we built all the buildings in Philly and in the southeast Pennsylvania. Every building that has glass, we probably touched. For our guys, touched.
Yeah. Wow. Exactly, Danny. I'm with you on that. Wow. Not this guy again. Absolutely not. Bro. So, with saying all that, what's your worst habit?
Procrastinating.
Me too.
I'm a typical racer. We wait to the last minute to do stuff and then go, shit, I got a next day airing because I didn't think about it. I knew it on Sunday that we needed a part, but Wednesday, we're here Wednesday. Shit, I got to leave Friday.
I can mail it tomorrow. Don't worry. I'll pay the extra $20 and get it there. No problem. Yeah. Trust me, I know all too well about all you racers and your time schedules and your phone calls and the way you text message back 3 weeks later. Oh, I'm sorry. All familiar. Danny knows too, right? Danny knows. So, but that's part of the game, right? I love it. Everybody knows I listen to a lot of audio books. I'm actually currently still listening to The Art of Racing in the Rain. Absolutely amazing movie. The book's way better than the movies, as most books are. So do you read books or listen to anything?
No, I don't read. I'm more like I'll read something online or read an article, a book. Man, that's tough for me. That's I wish I could, right? I wish I could sit down and read it. But I like to learn. Like I know after I stopped racing, I probably learned more about my trade that I work in. I learned more about it feels like I started to seek it. and look for it. I didn't think it mattered when I was younger, but I think the older I get, the more I want to learn. So I like to read, learn about something. Look, sometimes I'm going, okay, that's a little past my pay grade or whatever, where I don't want to learn that because it's too much. Like these electronics and these bikes, I'm thinking, I got to start learning this. How do I figure it out? Where do we even start? So that's something I do got to dig into, or you're just going to end up paying somebody. But if you don't have a dyno, it don't matter anyway. So
this is true. And obviously, Danny, back then you guys didn't have a lot of electronics on the bikes.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
Didn't exist. I mean, it was just the harness that factory gave us that ran the bike, but that was it.
Yeah. Is that something you're looking forward to, Mike? Is learning the electronic sides too as well?
No.
He said, "No, absolutely
You're gonna have
not."
to read,
right? He's like, "Damn it!"
I like to do the geometry on the frame, do the shock lengths, fork lengths, suspension, that stuff, tire pressure. That I can dig my head into. To do the electronics, look, I'm not going to change it at the track. Although you can, there's different settings now. You can probably change the engine braking and all those things you can do through your laptop now. But right now, I want to get him on this bike and just go. We're not going to mess with it. Go. We know where it's at. This bike has already been on the track with another rider, so we know it's set. So, or at least it'll go. Let's get to his speeds that it was already at. And then once we need more, we'll start messing with it. And I got enough people, friends, and people I can count on or call or go to and go, hey, what's the next move? Because you got to have a little army that you trust. And I try to keep my circle. There's a few people I really I'll listen to. Everybody will get advice, but there's about 3 or 4 people that I really go. There's the guy I'm going to listen to. And trust that he's not going to steer me wrong.
100%, dude. Listen, my advice: turn that bullshit off anyway. You don't even need it. Put it all in Cole's hand and let's go ripping.
Yeah. Like when we go to a flat track race, you jump on his 250 or his 450, and you're going. Just put it in gear and you gear it to the track, tire pressure, and you go. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's not as complicated.
It's fun.
But he loves road racing, and that's where we're at.
I love it, man. I love it. What's the last song you listened to?
Oh. So on satellite, I listen a lot of Kenny Chesney on No Shoes Radio or Tom Petty. I'm a big Tom Petty guy. So those are my go-tos.
I like Tom Petty. I was listening to Wiz Khalifa was the last thing I played earlier this afternoon on my way home. So, okay. Mike and Danny, you can answer this one too. Hey, we're all going out. We're having a pint of beer, as my UK buddies would say. What's our go-to karaoke song we're singing?
I told you, all freak out.
I did karaoke one time, and it was in Japan when I went to Suzuka. The guy, and Danny, were you ever over there?
Yeah.
Did they ever take you to that bar? There's a little bar. It's about probably 8 seats long, and they say all the Americans come here. So the guy that was running me around, he goes, "We're going." So we go to this bar. We're sitting at this thing, the counter, and we're drinking sake and whatever we're drinking. It's all flowing, and all of a sudden now the karaoke comes up, and but they wanted me to sing "Take Me Home, Country Road." They love that song. So there I was.
Take me home. Take me home. Come on, Mike. Take me home.
Yeah.
Country road.
In Misano, I had to sing a Beatles song. I did. It was pretty cool. I got a lot of applause from those Italians, man.
I love it, dude. I freaking love it, man. Let me ask you this, dude. Star Wars or Star Trek, Mike?
Ooh, I'm neither. But I'd say if I had to pick one, I'm a Star Wars. Yeah.
Good,
I'm
because
not
if
a
you
Trekkie.
said Star Trek, I was getting ready to exit everybody out the studio immediately. Oh, the
Right.
power got cut off. I don't know what happened. Wrong answer. Now I'm just playing.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Do you guys measure your fuel?
I haven't
Like,
yet.
yeah, because you know
Haven't
what
had a
Rob
need.
Muzzy told me. He goes, "Why are you measuring your fuel? Because we know how much a lap is." He goes, "I've never heard of a rider that couldn't win a race because he had too much fuel.
Right.
Fill it up.
Yeah. I see people do that too. I'm just putting in nothing. I'm like, fill it up.
Fill
Look,
it up."
I don't want to. I'm not going to fill it up where we have, an extra couple pounds or something. But yeah,
For a race,
I
man,
don't
fill it up.
fill it
You don't want to
up.
run out of fuel in the lead.
You never know what happens during a race because if there's a red flag and they stop and then you got to warm it up and that's like if you well you can always add I guess but yeah I'm never cutting it that close with gas ever. I ran out of gas at Daytona on the RC30 coming off the banking into the tri-oval. I pushed that sucker far and I'm like I ain't never doing that again. I think I just wasn't stopping. My dad's like, "Why didn't you come in?" I'm like, "I don't know. I was just going. I was wiggling it, trying to get it to go."
Love it. I love it. Or you could do like my buddy did and make a little extra gas tank somewhere where the airbox sits, and you ain't got to worry about it, right? You can just fill it up and let her eat all day long. I love it, man. I love it. Well, listen, gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun. My wife popped up in the door, says, if I don't feed her, you're going to see a live action murder on the podcast. I can't have that. So, yeah, we're going to end this here in a second. Listen, gentlemen, it's been an absolute honor to have both of you on. Thank you so much, Danny, for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Listen, I'm looking forward to me and you doing a lot more co-hosting together for sure, because he's coming back on later on in this month for another one. Mike, listen, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you and Call It VIR. Don't forget to hit me up so I can meet you guys out there, do some live videos and hang out, cook out, and eat burgers. And me and you will laugh and make fun of everybody else, right? That's what me and you're gonna do for sure. And do some karaoke singing.
Yeah. Bring your microphone and we'll have at it. We'll call Danny up and get him on the live and FaceTime live.
Consider it done, my friend. And listen, I'm gonna let you end the podcast as I do all my friends that come on here, but I just want to say thank you so much for everybody that tuned in, that watched this podcast, that listened to it live. If you had not had the chance, hit all those likes and subscribes, the ding dongs, the TikToks, the avid, all that good stuff that goes in between. And listen, seriously, I say it all the time. If it wasn't for Danny and Mike and everybody else coming on here, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. So it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you. I got a little tongue twisted right there. I still do have some shirts for sale, so if anybody's interested, hit me up. I don't think I have any larges left. It's only small and medium. So you missed out. You guys missed out. Not you two, but everybody else that didn't order the shirts, right? So yeah, listen, thank you guys so much. This episode will be out, well, after I cook dinner. Otherwise, it'll never come out. So let me cook dinner first, and then it'll be out tonight for sure, right? But yeah, listen, Danny, thank you so much for coming on. Can't wait to talk to you again, my friend. Mike, tell everybody where they can find Cole at on social medias and all that, and you too as well.
Yeah, so for me, social media, Mike Varnes, it's just my Facebook, but Cole's got a Cole Varnes Facebook and at Cole Varnes Insta, and he's got a ColeV.24 TikTok.
I love it. Everywhere, right? So listen, everybody, go like and subscribe to Cole and hit Mike up for any questions, especially all you dads out there that have any questions about flat track or getting into road racing. That's what I love about our community too. Is I always call it our beautiful circus. Is the most amazing people you'll meet, and they'll be lifelong friends. And if you have any questions or advice,
everybody's out to help each other. Should be.
But maybe there's a little bit too much advice. But how do you pick what's right and what's not? This is the trick.
That's the trick.
This is the trick, right?
I wanted to come on to meet you and maybe we'll run into each other sometime, but Chris is bringing you to me, and I just appreciate it. I can't wait to do more and see these people that we're a very small community.
Yes.
Very, very small, very tight, and a lot of people will help you. If I'm around, I'd help you out big time.
Awesome. I'm gonna come to California then.
Come to Laguna.
It's the only place I've never been there. It's on the bucket list. I do want to get out there and want to see a race.
I'll do your suspension.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, dude. You know what? I want to make it back to the Laguna. I was there in 05, first year MotoGP comeback. First time I met Rossi, obviously Sete Juvenile, Max Biaggi. First time I met, not the first time I met Nicky Hayden, because I met him in AMA. But I remember when I first met Max Biaggi, dude, he's
small.
Tall. And Danny Perdosa, forget about it. He's like 3 inches taller than a real midget. No bullshit on that, dude. Danny's laughing because he knows, man. He's literally this tall. Yeah, dude. It's absolutely insane. But listen, if I don't get off here, I just got a text message. I gotta go, man. So
all right, man.
I appreciate everybody. Danny, I'll give you a call. Mike, I'll give you a call. And on that note, we are out of here. I'll catch you guys soon.
Take care, man.
You too, my man. Appreciate it. Cheers, guys. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you. It was an absolute honor.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.